Hi everyone, it's Sunday with Sandy time, and today, of course, we're going to be working with the Moonlit Dreams kit, which is Drawing Fairies. This is the book that you get in the kit, and if you have your book already, turn to page 4 because that's what I'm going to be working on today. And as you can tell, I have already done quite a bit of her because this is a more intensive drawing here. You've got the girl and you have the fairy. And the fairy is sitting on top of fingertips, so I thought I would concentrate on drawing hand, discussing what he uses to help you draw the hand. So for the fairy, so let's start with the instructions and how they go here for the fairy. Turn to my page here so I can see that better. Okay, first he starts by the space that you're going to have for the fairy herself, and then you have the space for the hand. Now, one important thing to look at when you are thinking about how tall the fairy is when you draw is her eye contact, because her eyes are geared to go right along with the face of the fairy. So she's looking right at the fairy. So the top of that line, you can see, is right here, eye contacting, because that's where the fairy's face is going to be. And then if you look at the picture and look at where the placement of the feet of the fairy are, they're almost in line right with this chin. So I've got a little mark here right with that chin. And then you're just going to draw your lines and connect your space. And what he's giving you there is the space. That's going to be the dimensions from your fairy from head to toe. Okay? And then he gives some finger dimensions. He has the first top finger. Now the first top finger, if you look at the book, kind of goes just above that curve right there. So you want that to be the length of this finger. Okay, so that's the length of her pointing finger. So this is a little triangle that you draw. And remember, all these lines can be erased later, and you know, sometimes you have to kind of fudge a little bit on where they are to make them fit properly, but that's okay. And then he gives you an oval for the base part of the hand. So in the drawing, we've got one finger up like this, and then you've got the fingers, so you got the base of the hand right here, which is your oval shape. And I'm just going to draw an oval. And if I look at how this is drawn, see, now I had to stop. You saw me start, and then I had to think, well, let me go back and look and see how wide is that oval of her hand compared to this shape that I have for the space for the fairy. And it's a little bit larger, so I'm going to kind of make it a little bit bigger than I was doing there. And my oval is running off the page because that's just the way I have her set up. So her hand is not going to be fully on this page. So let me move my board here a little bit so we're more, there we go, what I'm drawing. And then you have her thumb, okay? And the thumb in the drawing goes right to the tip of her shoulder. So I've already got her shoulder kind of coming out where I think it would go. So now I want the thumb. So the thumb tip is another triangle. And I have to kind of look and see. Okay, so he's got it. So here's the curve. He's got the tip of her thumb about right there. So I'm going to draw my triangle there like so. So this is the basis of the first step in the drawing. You have the space to draw the fairy in, the finger that the fairy is standing on, the base of the hand, and the thumb. Okay? So now the next thing he starts with are the fingers. And he's got it like this. It's her left hand. So when you're drawing, he's going to give you circles. The circles are your knuckles. And if you look at your hand, you'll see that you've got a bump here, a bump here, and a bump here. And that's what he does. He draws circles for the knuckles first. And if you look closer at your hand, you'll see this is the largest circle, medium circle, and the smallest circle. So you want to do the same thing when you are drawing these. So you want to start with, now he's got the top finger, so I'm going to draw my medium circle there, and then my smallest circle there. Okay, And then I'm going to go to the next. Now he's got one circle, I think, which is the big knuckle, but it's more of a spacing, I think. Yeah. Okay, so then he draws his next one. This is the large circle. Oops, my pen's catching on my canvas here. So that's my large circle. Then I have my medium size circle. And then I have my smaller circle. Next finger down, which is the ring finger, you have your large circle. He's got these two pretty much together. Okay, and you got to remember too that your circles are changing size because of the size of your fingers. So this being the middle finger, this one's larger than the ring finger, which is a little bit smaller. Same here, larger, smaller. So you got to keep those thoughts in mind too. And then he's drawn a large circle down here because this is the palm of your hand. This is that meaty palm. Okay, so that's part of your fingers right there. And then you're going to start connecting your circles. So this is the tip of a finger. Goes here to that one. Okay, then he's got this one, which is meets this circle, not this one. That's just more of a spacing. Go down to your next finger. Then you got your little fingertip. Okay, connect and connect. Same thing again. Connecting those circles, making your fingertip. Okay, and right now it kind of looks like a skeleton would be the best way I would describe this. And from this connection up here, from this circle for the first joint and that spacing, he's just got a line going down, so you're just connecting. Okay? Alright. And next, he doesn't do the joints for this one, but you start with your fingertip here, and just for the, I say for the first part, you've got your pad, because if you look at your finger, it's in 3 sections. Okay? So even though he didn't do the circles, you can still imagine them being there. So you've got the pad to the first finger, and then connecting, and then connecting. So getting our hand done there. So I do like a little bump almost. So you're going 1, 2, 3, where you have your pads, and it's a little bit smoother here on this part of your finger, but nothing is ever straight and stiff. But you'll get, like I said, we can adjust and work on this as we're doing this along here. And then your thumb. So again, here's the tip of the thumb, and look at your thumb. This one you only have 2 sections. Okay, so you've got the curve to your pad, and then where it connects to your hand. So you want to do, and remember which way your hands are facing, always helps. So doing 2 of those. And then where my knuckle is, coming out. Okay, getting there. And this one, I'm going to carry into the fingertip. If you look at his drawing, this finger here connects with that finger there. Okay, so that's my pad there. Let's pad straight and kind of round that off. Same thing here with your little ring finger, your pad, and then straighter on top. Okay, so now let's see what he tells us to do. So now he's starting on the fairy. So he has the head, which is a circle right there, and I'm going to go down to the feet. Now the tush of the fairy is kind of standing out, so I'm going to go up with that line right there, get a little slant, and bring that triangle down. That's her little bottom. And because she's got that arch with her butt sticking out, or her tush sticking out, you want to arch her back like so. Now I'm not going to be drawing in the wings because I think if I can, I am going to be using the stamp for one of the wings. So those are her arms. She's got her on her finger, and I've got most of everything drawn here. Okay. And then he starts giving you a little more dimension, like you have her thigh. So you want to curve that thigh right there. And again, just like everything else with the fingers, you have your spaces. So this is behind the knee. This is your thigh, behind the knee, and the calf area. And we're going to take this and echo. Let's get a kneecap in here so you kind of have a... You're going to echo that right like so for her other leg. Okay. And he starts giving her some breast. And he also starts kind of changing her face angle at this time with a little bit of hair that kind of flows back that way. Alright. And then we're going to bring out her other arm here. I made it a little too skinny there. And, oh, I got to do her toes. That's what I was missing there. Sorry, her feet. So you have her heel. And let's just thin out that leg a little bit. I think I have a gymnast fairy. She's kind of got big thighs there. She's working out a lot. Alright, so there's her toes. So she's up on tiptoe. Okay. And she doesn't have much, excuse me, of an outfit on this one. She really is just kind of in like a leotard almost. Alright. Okay, so now let's start erasing some of our lines here. And this is where I'll get a better picture of where I'm following him. Do I need to go back and make corrections? And yes, I always do. So, you know, don't think you're the only one. So we have this, which is her first finger. Okay. Okay, and this finger. Oh, see, found a mistake there that I had. That one has to go down more like so, and that one comes across. Okay. And I can't erase all my lines yet until I do it in pen, but I'm trying to get everything to where I needed it. Okay, now that one's just really off. So let's start with this one here. Okay. Just had that one up too close. But I can take that away too. But I think personally hands are the hardest part of the anatomy to draw. And that's why I thought, well, maybe I'll try and do the hand here. Okay. Now we're going to carry her finger down here. And then let's see here. Let's work on this. So I'm going to come back. and get my, there we go, much better. See, just giving that a little more depth, and that needs, I think, to have a little more meat on it. So I'm just going to make that wider. Same thing with my fingers here. I just think I got them too thin. So I'm just going to make them okay. And her shoulder needs to be sloped. Let's see, first make sure I get that hand there. Slope that shoulder off. Okay. And then she has her little dress on, which you can just do anything you want at this point on that. I think that would be okay. Alright, let's see, let's get the back of the hand here. So we have knuckles. I'm going to get the knuckles in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure I got all 5 fingers in there. And that, you may laugh at that, but you know, that's something that you got to check. Make sure you've got them all in there. So this is my last knuckle. This is my pinky. Okay. So my last knuckle, I have the hand will kind of, there we go. Alright. Okay, now let's change that thumb just a little bit. Let's make that pad of that thumb a little more. There we go. Okay. Well, like I said, hands are the hardest thing to do, but I think it turned out pretty good. And you have your steps, and that kind of shows you how to go by your steps. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, wait a minute, let me erase some of these lines here to make them so they're not quite so dark and showing up. I do like the feud pen that's in this kit, but it is not perfect as far as smudge proof and all that, so I try to make my lines be a little bit less so I don't have to erase so much when I have pinned over everything. So I'm just lightly erasing and just making things a little less smudgy, hopefully, so that when I erase, and I'll have to let it dry and come back after I do that. Okay. And I'm not going to do her arms yet until I figure out what I'm going to do about her wings. So for right now, I'm just going to start kind of outlining Well, all I've done now is just gone back and outlined some of the pieces, and I have put some of the paper effects into the little fairy's hair. So one thing I'm going to work on right now is shading, and I'm just using a chalk set, nothing fancy, and I'm just following where they have shaded in the illustration book. So first I go through and I put all my darkest shading down first, and that just means hasn't been blended. It's pretty thick on my applicator here, and I'm just following along on the picture, as you'll notice if you follow along with me here, where he has shading. So if you have issues with shading and you want to learn how to do it better, follow what he does, and you'll learn about, you know, how to shade your objects and what needs to be shaded and all that. I've wiped off the remaining chalk on my brush, and now I'm just going to take it and start blending it out. And again, I'm just starting with the heavy areas and just blending that out a little bit. You can always add, but I'd rather add than try to take away. So I go lightly first. And this is the same technique. My feud pen is not dry, and I just smeared it a little bit, but I think I'll be able to fix that. Let's see here. That should be okay. And then one other thing that he does is he uses his pen to do hatch marks and little marks. Now, I cannot use my feud pen for that because this has got a really bold, thick line on it. So I'm going down to a micron, and I'm going down to a 1, which is really thin. And I'm going to start adding some of these little cross hatches in here. And this kind of accents some of the lines a little further. And I'm sorry, I said cross hatches, but I really just mean just little lines. So again, I'm just kind of following what he's done. He has done some cross hatching over here. So I guess that means it's the really dark area. So he draws straight lines out, and then he comes back. And this is what I mean by really studying. If you want to learn from these books and you want to learn how to draw, there's a lot that you can get from this. Shading, not only drawing, but shading and contouring, the anatomy, how to look at things. And it's all really a great learning experience from these books. I have to say, I've really enjoyed them. So this one for me was more difficult for a lot of reasons. The hands I find are difficult. Fingernails I find are difficult. Teeth, oh my gosh, teeth I found really, really hard to do. And she has kind of a buck tooth look to her, but in the picture of the book, she also has that same look. So you know, at first I didn't like it, and then I thought, well, you know what, none of us are perfect, and there are people out there that have that look. So, you know, I guess it's not good to always draw perfect girls with all these perfect features, because we always have young artists and young women who look at what we do, and if they see perfection on every drawing, and all the women always look so perfect, what does that say to them? Well, you don't look like that, so you're not art worthy. So I try, or I should say, I'm going to try more to not always make everybody look so doggone perfect all the time. Give them some more kind of realistic features, I guess you'd say. And the last thing that I'm going to do here, she's pretty much finished. I added the flowers. The flowers were drawn on, but since I'm doing a canvas here, I glued some flowers on. But the last thing that I'm going to do, and then I'll be finished, is adding some stickles to outline the wings here. It's kind of trying to debate whether or not I wanted to draw them so that you could see them more, but I decided in the end to just keep them kind of clear and transparent. I think I like that. And I can always go in and add some center stickles to the flowers. Well, she's all finished, and whew, look at all this mess here. So it was a lot of fun. I used acrylics, I used chalks, I used my Moonlight glow pens, different pens, just a whole variety of different things to create this little piece. But I think she turned out pretty cute, buck teeth and all. But I kind of like her, you know, quirkiness there, and I like her a lot. So I hope that you get your book out, you play along, try to draw some things. I hope I helped explain how he helps configure things by giving you the spatial placing, and how he tries to show you how to draw your joints and figures and, you know, all that good stuff. I hope it helped. So if you draw one, or if you draw any fairy at all, we'd love to see it on Frosted Design. I mean, I really would. I'd love to see you guys play along and have fun with me. And Tamika, who's also drawing a lot of fun fairies too. So join us, ladies. Have a great week. We'll see you next Sunday. Bye.